In my journey in the fashion world as a fashion designing instructor, I've come to realize that one of the major challenges most fashion designers encounter is the inability to interpret styles, and that is the reason for this issue of what I ordered versus what I got, which is all over the places. For this reason, I've decided to take a step further in giving you, my subscribers, a critical and detailed analysis of every style you come across on my channel, and that is what style interpretation is all about. In this video, I will be showing you in full details how to draft, cut and sew a kimono jacket using this particular style as my reference image. Please consider subscribing if you haven't, so that you won't miss out any of my subsequent videos. Are you guys ready for this video? Because I'm super excited to have you on my channel. My name is Bolaji and this is Reggie School of Fashion. So guys, let's quickly go into the interpretation of this style before we start the drafting. This is a kimono jacket, and kimono jacket has different styles, but our concentration is going to be on this reference image. Firstly, this jacket is a one-piece straight cut from the shoulder line to the jacket length. Secondly, there is no traces of waist dart on the jacket, whereas an invisible dart is applied on jacket, and this was achieved using dart manipulation. Your dart manipulation can either be achieved using the pivot method or slash and spread method. Now let's go to the neckline area. To the neckline on this reference image is in two levels. The first neckline level is from the shoulder point and stops on the base of the neck or desired neck depth, while the second neckline level starts from the first neck depth and stops on the natural waist level. Now let's move to the hemline, which is the jacket length. A certain value was subtracted from the center of the front panel towards the side, and this value is determined by how much you want the center opening to be. But referencing to this image, the opening is about 6 to 8 inches, that is 3 to 4 inches on both sides of the panels. And lastly, the neckline was decorated with bias trim or tape. Now to the sleeve. The sleeve on this jacket was not cut together with the bodice. The sleeve is called a bell sleeve, and it was attached separately together with the bodice. A bell sleeve can be achieved in two ways. The first method is achieved by putting a basic sleeve and a circle sleeve together, which can be a full circle or an half circle. While the second method of bell sleeve is achieved by using slash and spread method of dart manipulation. But based on our reference image, the second method of bell sleeve was used. In drafting the jacket, I will be needing my basic bodice block, the front and the back, and also a basic sleeve pattern. So in case you don't know how to draft a basic bodice block and a basic sleeve pattern, or you know how to draft them but you are not sure maybe what you are doing is right, or you are doing it in a right way, I have a video on how to draft a basic bodice block correctly, easy to understand method, and also how to draft a basic sleeve pattern. The links to these videos will be available in the description box under this video. So in addition to this, before you can get this style right, you have to learn these things. Firstly, you need to get your basic bodice drafting. You have to get it right. If the drafting you have on your basic bodice block is not right, the jacket will not come out well. Secondly, the measurements you'll be using in drafting your basic bodice block, make sure the measurements are taken correctly. So if you are not sure on how to take accurate body measurements, I also have a video on how to take accurate body measurements for female. So the link to the video will also be available under the description box. And thirdly, how to read your measuring tape. Every measurement you take has to be taken accurately. You don't need to add to it or round it up to the nearest value you are familiar with. So you have to learn how to read your measuring tape correctly, how to read the small lines on your measuring tape, how to convert the fraction value to decimal and decimal to fraction. If you get lost, you know you are not very sure of what you are doing about reading of a measuring tape, I also have a video on how to read the measuring tape correctly for pattern drafting. The links to all these videos will be available in the description box under this video. Now I will start by transferring my basic bodice block on a fresh pattern paper, and I will be drafting the front pattern first. Now I've transferred my basic bodice block on a fresh pattern paper. As I said earlier, this is the front bodice. So this line is the chest level, this is the bust level, this is the empire level, and this is the waist level. The next thing is to insert the length of my jacket. So the length of the jacket I'm using is 25.5 inches, and this measurement will be taken from the waist downward. So that is why it is necessary for you to learn how to take body measurement accurately, because this measurement falls on the lower part of the body. The measurement is not taken from the shoulder line, it is from waist downward. I'm inserting the length of the jacket, and the measurement is taken from the waist level downward. So the length of the jacket is 25.5 inches. Then I will add extra 1 inch as hem allowance. So after inserting the length of the jacket, I will insert the hip level measurement, so which I'm using 8 inches. So I'm inserting the same measurement on the other side so that I can have a perfect straight line. Now I've inserted the hip level measurement and the jacket length. So the next step is to grade this pattern to our desired style using our reference image. So I will start by working on the shoulder line. And because this is a jacket, I will be extending the shoulder line outward by 0.25. Then I will come to the chest level and bring the chest level down by 0.25 as well. So this is a new chest level. So this is no more in use. So I can cross this out. So the next step is to reconstruct the armhole. So I will come to the former chest level I'm using and measure what I have there. Then insert that same value on the new chest level. So I'm inserting 9.75 on the new chest level. This is 9.5, 9.625, then 9.75. And I will reconstruct the armhole. So this is the new armhole now. This is no more in use, and I will erase it so that you don't get confused. Now I've erased the former armhole I have on the bodice, then the line I have on the chest level. That is the former chest level. So this is a new chest level now, and this is our new armhole. So the next step is to construct the dart. I will be constructing my dart on the waist level and by the side. That is straight side dart. But before constructing that on the side, I will have reconstructed the side first. So which means I will only be constructing my darts on the waist level for now. So the dart I had on my basic bodice block was 1 inch, but I want to pick up to 2 inches on the waist level. So this is my bust span point. So then from that point I will measure 2 inches. That is a dart intake. So from this point at the center front to this particular point is my bust span measurement. Then from my bust span measurement point, I measured my dart intake. Then I'll come to the bust level and insert my bust span measurement as well. So in case you are wondering how I'm plotting my darts, so this is the proper way of plotting your dart. So this is part of what you will be learning in my tutorial of how to draft a basic bodice block. It is a well-detailed tutorial. So the link to the video is available in the description box. So after my dart intake of 2 inches, so I'll get the midpoint. At this point, I will not come down by 1 inch, so I'm not moving my dart away from the apex. So this point is called the apex. So purposely because I'm still closing the dart. So the next step is to connect the waist dart to the jacket length and also bring it upward, because this pattern is going to be in pieces based on our reference image. So because of this, I'll come to the hip level and insert whatever I have from the center front to the middle of my dart. I have 4.5 inches, so I'm inserting the same 4.5 inches on the hip level. And I will be inserting the same measurement on the jacket length. So now I'll be connecting this line, the points together with my straight ruler. Then I will extend my dart to the hip level. So on the hip level, I'll come up by 2 inches. Then connect the dart points to the hip point. After plotting my dart, the next step is to construct the side of the pattern. So I'll be reinserting my waist level measurement because I've added to the dart intake. So this is 9 inches. I will add extra 1 inch to the waist level. Also, I'll come to the hip level and insert quarter of the hip measurement. So I'm inserting quarter of the hip measurement plus ease of 0.5. So whatever I have on the hip level, will be inserted on the jacket length. And because my dart passes through the empire level as well, I will have to retake the measurement and add my dart intake. Quarter of the empire level or under the bust measurement is 8 inches, and the dart intake I have here is 1 inch. So this stage is very vital, it's very important. You have to get it right. So that is why I'm recommending my video on how to draft a basic bodice block for you. The video is in 3 parts, part 1 and 2 and 3. So the next step is to reconstruct the side. Now this is settled, then I will erase the former connection I had on the pattern. Now that I've reconstructed the side, I can go ahead and plot my side dart. And because this is a straight side dart, so I'll be coming down by 2 inches. This is a 2 inches point. Then my dart intake is 2 inches as well, and I will find the midpoint. So this is the midpoint. So the midpoint will be connected to the apex. And I will connect the remaining 2 points. So the next step is to work on the center front of the jacket, which is the exact point we are arriving at. So based on our reference image, we'll be working on the center front of the jacket, and this is going to be an open jacket. So based on our reference image, we are creating the center front style, and I will start with the neckline area. So looking at this neckline, the neckline is a little bit lower than the basic neckline depth. So for this reason, I will be bringing the neckline I have on my pattern, which is a basic neckline, by 0.5 inches, and I will reconstruct the neckline. It is also a round neckline. So this is for the depth, and for the width is from this point to this point is 3 inches as well. So I will be extending the width also by 0.5, so which means I have 3.5 by 3.5. So this is the new neckline, and I will cross this out. This is no more in use. So after reconstructing the neckline, and because of what we have on our reference image, the neckline does not start exactly at the center of the jacket. You can see there is a little opening in between the neckline. So for this reason, I will be measuring 1 inch inward. So this is not constant, so it depends on how wide you want the opening to be. You don't want it too wide, you can use 0.5, you can use 0.25, you can use more than 1 inch if you want the opening to be more than that. So you have control over the style you are achieving. So but based on the reference image, it should not be more than 1 inch. So I'm just using 1 inch so that you will understand better. I don't know, maybe it's more than 1 inch, but I will be using 1 inch. So the next step is to create the curve we have from the neck to the waist. Based on this reference image, you can see there is a curve at the center front, and the connection is from the neckline to somewhere around the waist level, though the belt does not really allow us to know where the curve stops, either on the empire level or on the bust level. So I'll be connecting the curve from the neckline to somewhere around the waist level. This is optional as well. If you don't want the curve to get to the waist level, you can create your own style by stopping it on the bust level, you can stop it on the empire level, and you can stop it on the waist level. So but based on this reference image, I will be connecting this 1 inch point and stop on somewhere around the waist level, and it will be on the bust pan measurement. So I need a very curvy ruler to achieve this, and because of that I will be constructing the curve first using my free hand, then reconstruct with my curve ruler. Okay. So just make sure your curves align. So after constructing the curve I have around the waistline to the neckline, the next step is to go to the hemline of the jacket. You can see based on this reference image, there's an opening on the jacket length from the center front towards the side. I think the opening we have here will be up to 8 inches altogether. So which means on one side of the panels, it will be 3 to 4 inches. So I will be using 4 inches. Okay, let me use 3 inches. So I'll be using 3 inches for the opening of the jacket. Also, you can reduce this measurement, you can add to it. So it is not a standard value. It depends on your preference, on what you are trying to achieve. So I will come to the hemline of the jacket and insert the value I will be subtracting. This is based on you. You can take as much as you want, and you can take a little if you don't want the opening to be much. So I think I will be stopping the opening on the dart point, so which is 4.5 inches. So then I will take my ruler. Based on the reference image, the connection from the waist level to the jacket length is a straight line. So I'll be connecting this downward. Like so. As you can see, our beautiful jacket is coming out gradually already. Can you see the shape? So this is a connection from the neck to the waist level, and from the waist level to the jacket length. So the next step is to blend up the connection I have from the waist level downward using my curve ruler. Okay, so don't get confused, we have much of lines here. So I think I will be shaping out the curve with my marker. So that's the shape of a jacket. So that's the shape of a jacket. As I'm dotting it, so that's the shape. So the next step is to apply that manipulation on a jacket pattern. You can see I created a dart by the side of the jacket. So I will be cutting out this dart, open up another dart on the armhole, close the dart I have by the side and open it on the mid armhole. If you don't want yours to be at the mid armhole, you can move it to the mid shoulder. So in case you don't know anything about that manipulation, you are hearing this for the first time or you have been hearing it before but you don't know how to apply it on your pattern, I have a video on how to apply that manipulation on a dress. It is a well-detailed video that will help you as a beginner in that manipulation. The link to the video will be available in the description box under this video. So I will start the cutting from the neckline. Now I'll be cutting out the dart. So the dart I have on the cutout side at the center front, I will trim that off as well. Now I will keep this part. This is the center front. Don't forget, I'm not trashing this because I'm still going to use it. I will keep this aside. Then I will come to the side dart, which is exact point you are going to. I'll be cutting out the side dart, but before cutting it out, I will draw out where I'm moving the dart to. So which is the middle of the armhole. So this is the armhole. So I will take the measurement of the armhole and get the midpoint. So this is the midpoint of the armhole. Then I'll connect the point to the apex. Now I'm connecting the mid armhole to the apex. Now I'm cutting off the dart. Then I will open up the mid armhole. Now the mid armhole is opened, so when I close the dart by the side, automatically the dart will move to the mid armhole, as you can see. So I'll be securing this with tape. Now I have my pattern placed on a fresh pattern paper, then I will be transferring this on the new pattern paper. Also, I will construct my darts on the pattern. Now I've traced my pattern on a fresh pattern paper, so the next step is to fix every broken point I have on the pattern. Anytime we open up a pattern, there will always be a broken point which have to be fixed back. So I will start by fixing the armhole area. So this is the dart I have on my armhole. So I'll be flipping my pattern over in order to find it easier. So make sure you move your dart away from the apex before you fold your dart. So that is what I'm doing now. I folded first because I need to get the dart leg. The center of the dart is the dart leg. So which I've gotten. So I will draw a straight line. So that's the middle of my dart. So I will be moving the dart away from the apex at this point because this is the final dart I'm using. So please don't forget this step, is very important. Move your dart away from the apex so that you don't have a pointy dart. Now I can fold back my dart. And the folding will stop on the dart point, not on the apex. So this is a dart point. So you have to take your time when doing this. So make sure you fold the right line. Okay. So I explained into details how to fold your dart in my video, in my dart manipulation dress video. So I folded the dart and I stopped the folding on the dart point. In my video on how to make a dress with dart manipulation, which I mentioned earlier, I showed you guys how to fold your darts into details. So the link to the video is available in the description box under this video. So please watch the video, you will understand how you can fold your darts neatly. So I'll be taping this down with a paper tape. Now I will be reconstructing the armhole. So immediately after reconstructing the armhole, I will add my seam allowance so that I will be able to open up the pattern. I have just a little broken point around the armhole. Okay. Then I will add my seam allowance. I added seam allowance of about 0.5 inches, which is good enough. So now I've opened up my pattern and I will come back and work on the waist area. You know, I cut out 2 inches of that on the waist area. So I will be adding that 2 inches to the center front in order not to make the waist area too narrow after constructing the jacket. So that's a 2 inches point. And I will reconnect. I'm reconnecting to the so I'm sketching with my free hand first. Okay. So then from the waist level, I will reconnect this point to the hip level. So the next step is to blend up the waist area. So the last step is to add my seam allowance all around the pattern, aside from the side I've added before. And I will start with the neckline. I'm adding 0.5 inches on the shoulder line, 0.5 inches on the neckline. Now I've added my seam allowance all around the pattern. I had 0.5 inches on the shoulder line, 0.5 on the neckline, and the center front from the beginning to the hem line, 0.5 inches. But by the side of the pattern, I added 1 inch. On the armhole, 1 inch. So I'll be cutting out the pattern, and I will start cutting from the armhole area because of the dart I have there. So I will fold back my dart, then cut out the pattern. So now I'm cutting out the armhole. I folded my dart before cutting. So please, this is very important. Don't forget to fold your dart. So can you see the curvy effect on the center front? Just the way we have it on our reference image. So that is the curve we have at the center front. So the next step is to remove the upper pattern, but before this I will transfer all my lines on the new pattern. Now I've transferred all my lines, so I can remove the upper pattern. So guys, this is the final look of our front panel of the jacket. As you can see, it is looking beautiful and it looks exactly like that of our reference image. This is the curve we have at the front, and you can see the line downward is slant, not straight. The side, the armhole, the shoulder line and everything. So the next step is to go into the drafting of the back panel. Now I've transferred the back pattern on a fresh pattern paper, which I will be grading to make the jacket pattern for the back. So firstly, I'll come to the shoulder line and extend the shoulder line by 0.25, just the way I did on the front pattern. So that is the point. Then I will bring down the chest level by 0.25 as well. So this is the new chest level. Then I will reconstruct the armhole. So then I will reconnect this point to the bust level. So this is no more needed. This is no more needed. And this is no more needed as well. So the next step is to extend the neckline width by 0.5, just the way I did when I was grading the front pattern. So if you don't know how to draft a basic bodice block, or you are not sure you are doing it the right way, I have a video on how to draft a basic bodice block properly, a well-detailed video, step-by-step method and easy to understand. The link to the video is available in the description box under this video. So I'm adding 0.5 I added half of an inch to the neck width, and I will make the neck depth 3 inches. Initially on my basic bodice block, I used 1 inch as the neckline depth for the back. So I will be adding 1.5 inches to make it 2.5 inches. And I will reconstruct the neckline. So this is a new neckline for the back, and I'll be erasing this because it is no more needed. So the next step is to extend my pattern to the jacket length. So from the waist point, I'll insert the hip level and the jacket length. So don't mind the line is not straight because I've graded on the zipper allowance. I've worked on the zipper allowance. So that is why you are seeing it as a slant line. So which means the back hemline will not be on a straight line. So now I will be inserting the hip measurement on the hip line. You can see the line is not straight. So purposely because I've worked on the center back. So all the details, I have them in my video on how to draft a basic bodice block. Watch this video and you will get to understand why I have the line as slant. So whatever I have on the hip line, I will insert it on the jacket length as well. Now I will be connecting the sides together, the waist point to the hip point and the hip point to the jacket length. So you have to learn how to use your tools, how to use your rulers. The details are available in my video on how to draft a basic bodice block using pattern drafting method. I showed you guys how to position your ruler in a correct way and every other things. So the side is ready. So the next step is to plot the dart. I don't need a serious dart because it is a back panel. So all I need is just a basic dart. I will be extending the dart I have on my basic bodice block downward to the hemline, and I will extend this also to the mid armhole. So I'll come to the hip level and insert what I have at the middle. Then on the hip level, I'll come up by 2 inches. Then I will connect the 2 inches point to my dart points. So after this, I'll come to the armhole and get the midpoint, then connect the midpoint to the dart point. So this is the midpoint of my armhole, then I'll be connecting this point to the chest level. So using my curve ruler, so because it is a back pattern, I don't need to pick any dart on the armhole. I don't need a serious dart for the back pattern. So guys, the back pattern is ready. The next step is to add my seam allowance all around. Okay, before adding my seam allowance, I'll be grading the center of the back. I told you I've graded the one I have on the basic bodice block, so I will continue the grading downward to the hemline. The last step is to add my seam allowance all around the pattern and then cut it out. Now it's time to cut out the back pattern, and I will start the cutting from the neckline area. I've cut out the pattern, now I'm cutting out the dart. So which means the back panel will be in 2 pieces. So this is the back panel, and after cutting out the darts, I have the pattern in 2 pieces. This is the center back and this is the side. Now I've pinned my patterns together with my fabric. As you can see, this is the front panel and I have 2 pieces for the back panel. Then I will cut them out. This is where I will be stopping in this video for now. So far so good. We've drafted the front and back panel of a kimono jacket with dart manipulation using this tie as a reference image. Meet me in my next video where I will be concentrating on the sleeve part of this tie, which is bell sleeve without joining, and I will also proceed in putting all the pieces together to make a beautiful kimono jacket with bell sleeve. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't subscribed, so that you won't miss out any of my subsequent videos. Till we meet in my next video, always remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.